Yes. In yesterday's discussion, we discussed about how to create a factory. Am I right? Hello.
Yes,
So how to
we are
create
this.
a factory? What are the advantages of factory? Hey, Ravi.
We can reuse that code.
First one is factories are singleton in nature, right? Factories are singleton in nature. They are singleton by nature. Singleton means create one time and reuse. That's what a factory is going to. That's what a singleton pattern is talking about. Got it?
Yeah, got it.
Okay. Now, right. So it also helps you to interact with the APIs. And also we discussed about $HTTP, right? So what $HTTP is doing? $HTTP is a service. $HTTP is a service. It has .get, put, post, delete. These are the methods it is having. And also it gives the following, it returns the following things. One is success. The combinations are like this: success and error, else then come a catch. That means if the call is success, then then you can use the then function, and catch is the if you got any errors, and there will be a finally block. So what a $HTTP.get, put, post or delete is going to return you? Success, error, that is one combination. Otherwise, then and catch, that is the second combination. For all this, the finally is the common thing. Clear? So what would be the final syntax of $HTTP.get? $HTTP.get, it will take the parameter of URL. Whatever the URL it is going to take the parameter of that URL dot, then function of response. Then function of response. Close this and again catch, function of error response. So this is the regular syntax of $get, HTTP.get method. Okay, so the response for the then will contain here config, data, status, success code or error, status whether it is success or error, and then status code 200, 300, 400. We have the status codes, right? You will be having those status codes as part of the response here. Success and error also will be the same, but there you don't get the status codes. That means 200, 300, 400. There you don't get, because you are already dealing with the success there. Got it? Here you need to check the success, whereas in the dot success method, you don't require to check the success there, because already it is a result of a positive response. Am I clear? Any questions? If you look at the controller implementation for this, this is the controller implementation. Do you see? Dot success, dot error. Suppose if you want, if we don't want this, we can implement in the other way. What is the use of finally? So you know the try, catch and finally blocks. So finally, do you want to perform any kind of action? You can perform that. Try, catch and finally is talking about that. That means the call could be success, the call could be failure, but at the end of after completing all those things, catching the error, catching the success response, finally if you want to perform something, then you can use the finally block. Yeah, try, catch and then final block. Okay, so can I move to the next topic? Is there any holiday in US? I'm finding less number of students.
Nothing like that.
Okay, so I'm not finding Sudhir, Sneha and all. Okay. Okay, so now we will try to write the states factory also. So now, can you help me in writing the states factory?
We need states.js also, right?
We need to create the states.json also. That we will create.
No, states.js.
Why JS? You're talking about the JSON?
Oh, no.
JSON is already there. Just we need to move that JSON file there. Code, country code also double quotes. Any mistake? Okay. Now what I'm doing, wrapping it inside a file, this call states. object. State needs to be wrapped inside the double quotes. So this is the standard JSON format. Got it? Save it. Now you have your JSON is ready. Now go to the states factory and simply write the immediate function. This is good. Now Angular dot module. What is the module here? Common, right? Ecart dot common. Now dot factory. What is the factory? States factory, right? Inject the $HTTP comma function of
Excuse me, Kiran. Here
yeah,
the factory name which you're giving state fact and the
right.
file name state factory should be matching.
No, not required.
Okay.
Not required. If you want, you can make you can name it. See, if you see the countries fact also we have used it. It's the same.
Yes.
Okay. Now the moment you are writing it, you should use the return statement, right? Return get states colon function. States dot JSON. Is it in simple now? Isn't it simple? You tell me now. Are the services complex? I mean, factory is complex?
It's eCart. It's not eCart.
Thank you. Ecart.common states fact. So we created the states factory also. I'm going back to the controller. I'm doing small refactoring of this particular controller. Okay. So because this code looks very ugly here, code looks pretty ugly. I want to wrap everything or I'm writing a function called init. Function init. Sorry, get countries. For the countries, we have used the success and response, right? Success and error. Now, for the states, I will be, no, I don't, I should not use this here. Um, good. So when you are changing the country, you want to get the states now, right? Now what should I do? States fact. I need to inject the states factory also. Am I right? States fact. Now I need to inject the states fact to the controller function also. States fact. Good. Now here, what I'm doing, states fact. States fact dot get states dot then. In the previous case, we have used the success and error. Here I am using then and the catch. Any questions so far? Any questions for me? So you can write a function here and move that color code there. Let me move this code there to get the states. Now what I will be writing is $scope dot states from JSON equal to response dot data dot states. Response dot data dot states. Console dot log error occurred. Do you see this statement? What is it saying? States fact dot get states then. Whereas if you see this direct in the response in the success directly I'm saying response dot countries, whereas here I'm saying response dot data dot states. Let us see whether this statement is correct or not. Let us see whether this statement, the one which I am writing, is correct or not. Scope dot states from this editor is looking bad. I don't like this editor. And also I'm using the get states. Okay. Now, just compare these two guys. What is the difference between this and this? In this case, what is the difference from the previous one versus this one?
Countries, there your
Directly, if you look at the scope dot countries, it's saying response dot countries. Here, response dot data dot states. Are clear? Let me add the states factory here. This is good. Now let us run the app. Did anybody complete the assignment given to you yesterday? That would be great. That would be great. App, common, states factory, countries factory. These two are there. So these two are nothing. Now I'm keeping the breakpoints here. I'm keeping the, oh, this is old code. So the init function is there, right? I'm writing init function at the end of the code. Keeping the breakpoint. States fact provider. So is there any mistake with the states fact provider? See the name. The moment you are giving the wrong name, it is throwing you the error. Okay. Do you see get countries and get states? Get countries already invoked. Now I'm moving to the get states. F11. If you look at the get states, do you think will it go directly to the line number 44 or will it go to the line number 49? Where it will go? Just think. If you understand the asynchronous programming correctly, is it going to 49 or 44? Directly going to the 49. It will finish all the current execution of code, and then once the data is success, then it will go to the line number 49. And if you look at the response of this, it is having config, data, headers, status text. So this is the response of the what to say,
Data
if you're
map.
using the then function, if you're using the done function. Got it? It will not go immediately to the line number 44. It will never go because it is asynchronous. In the asynchronous, first it will complete the current function, and then the calls that you made to the backend will be taken later. Because we are not sure how much time it is taking, it is going to take. Just observe the difference between those two. See, countries. What is the difference between the response of the countries object, response object of this one and the other one? Do we have the data status text success and all here? We don't have the data config and then status text okay and the status 200. We don't have, because you are already dealing with the success response here. Whereas I'm talking about the dot success. Here, if you look at this, dot then is having status text, status, etc. We are having this. You got the difference? Can you move ahead? Okay. So is this cool, Patrice? Is it cool?
Kiran, I have a question.
Yeah.
Is the dot success synchronous and dot then asynchronous? I
No,
joined
no,
it.
no. Everything is asynchronous.
Okay, okay.
The moment you are saying $http.get, it is asynchronous. That's it. That clear?
Yes, yes, thanks.
Okay. Now we are done with almost done with the factories, right? Okay. Now we will try to understand the next concept of Angular. That is nothing but the filters. It is nothing but the filters. Okay, now you have done the registration. Assume you have done the registration. In the registration, do we have the, what are the fields that we have as part of the registration? Good. These are the fields we are having as part of the registration, right? Now, the moment you are going to click on the register, I would like to display the profile page. That means the user has entered all these details. I would like to display the profile page. Okay. So now there are some Angular built-in filters. That means there are almost 7 to 8 filters that are available as part of the Angular. The first filter I'm going to give you is the JSON filter. And the first filter I'm going to give you is the JSON filter. The moment you are clicking on the register, I would like to show the user entered data here in a simple, nice JSON format. Okay, just observe what I'm going to do here. I'm simply saying pre ng hyphen if, sorry, p ng hyphen if what I'm doing, we never gone through this syntax. Am I correct? We never gone through this syntax. So now we are going through that particular syntax. Just observe. Now I'm refreshing my page. I'm going to the register controller. I'm adding the details, Kiran, PVS, and then phone number is 99596870. Email pvskiran.trainer@gmail.com, 830, and mail. Country, select the country, and then Telangana by default is coming. Now I'm clicking on the register. The moment I'm clicking on the register, you are finding this in the nice JSON format. Do you see this? Do you see this? Let us go back to the code. Let us go back to the code. What I have used in the HTML? Register user, there is a type symbol and then JSON. So this is called JSON filter. That means any string, any object that you are giving, it will get converted into JSON object. Any object that you are giving, that will get converted into JSON object. Clear? Now let us see. Do you see everything got changed to the uppercase? Did you observe? Here. Am I doing anything fancy there? I'm just adding filters like this. Yeah.
We selected the state also, right? Telangana. It is not displaying.
It's not displaying.
Yeah.
Oh, we did not assign it. That's the only reason. It's not assigned. See, you selected the state, but we are not, setting that state property. Let me do that.
And Krista.
I just need to check here what is the property that was given for the state. Selected state. Good. Okay, now it will get added. Wow, again I need to add these things. It's a big pain. See the simplicity of using the filters. Am I writing any JS code to do the filtering? Something went wrong. State is coming? Good. So, what are the two filters that we learned?
JSON and uppercase.
JSON and uppercase. So, JSON filter is converting the given object into the JSON format. Any object you give, it will simply convert that into the JSON format. And then, what is the other filter? Uppercase. Uppercase filter will convert the given string into the uppercase. Now if I'm going to give the lowercase, you will be getting the lowercase also. You'll be getting the lowercase also. Clear? Uppercase, lowercase, JSON, and then there are few more filters called it. Date filter is available. Date filter is available. Date filter is also available. Okay. Questions?
By using this filters, we can do validations also.
Validations, not this with this. Validations doesn't make sense with the filters. But for the validations, we will be using the directives. Okay. Now, I'm going to the sales module now.
By using the filters, we need to assign the ng if or what? The directive.
Not required, not required. ng if means if that condition is satisfied, display it. Otherwise, don't display it. That's what. See, ng if is a show and hide directive. You know what is show? If a condition is satisfying, display the data. If the condition does not satisfy, don't display the data. Similarly, ng if also. If register, I want to show it. If I'm removing this, nothing will happen. Just it is setting the visibility. That's it. Clear?
Where is the is register variable declared?
We did not declare it. We just said in the controller, I just said is register equal to true.
Okay.
Got it?
Yes.
Okay. Now, I'm going to the sales module now.
Kiran, you directly assign the $scope.is register is equal to true.
Right.
Then what's the use of the ng if there? Like ng if is a condition where if at all it goes wrong, then it should not display that uppercase or lowercase filter.
Right. That
But
is
directly for assigning dot equal to true over there, then there is no use of it, right?
no. When you are doing it, that is most important. When I am setting the true, if I am going to click on the register, if I am going to click on the register, then only it is true. Otherwise, it is false. Clear?
Okay.
You click, show it. If you don't click, don't show it. Simple. Make sense?
Yeah, there is only
Yeah.
with the button, like it is not checking the data whether it is correct.
Right. We are not. I mean, we need to write the logic, but time does not permit for us to do that, right? Now I'm writing the sales controller. Can you help me writing the sales controller? Now I need to write the Angular dot module ecart dot sales, right? And then dot controller. What is the controller name? Sales controller, comma. Open and close this one. Let's see functional. Do this first. Now, what are the dependencies that you are expecting? Add those dependencies now. So I'm expecting the $scope here and here also. I'm expecting the $scope, so I pass it the $scope there. Any questions so far for me? Now, I am salesfactory.js. am writing the sales factory. Now, instead of writing the factory, we will use the service here. Okay, we will use the service there. Because we discussed already about the factories, right? Function. What could be the syntax of that? Angular dot module so this is the not module. Module is ecart, right? Dot service. Sales service function. Can I inject the $HTTP to this?
Yes.
And here also I will be injecting the $HTTP. Do you find any difference in the factory versus service? Do you find any difference in the factory versus service?
Like in factory, we are calling the JSON data.
Here also we will be calling the JSON data. At the end of the day, factories and the services almost same, but the way, the syntactically they are different. Syntactically they are a little bit different, that's it, nothing else. There isn't much difference between the service and the factory. At the end of the day, they both are doing the same job.
Which one is preferable to use?
We usually use the factories. People usually use the factories. Now, in the service, you don't return anything. Service is a constructor function. This dot $HTTP.get, and then what you're doing here, sales.json. That's it. Of course, we don't have the sales.json file, but yeah. Okay, so now injecting, is there a difference in injecting, working with the controller here? Sales service dot I'm writing a simple function called init. Sorry, we need to call this sales service, right? Sales service dot get sales data dot then function of response dot catch function of error response. Anything you can do, no problem, it's a variable. And here you will be getting the $scope dot sales info equal to response dot data dot. Here you will be getting the error. Just observe the difference between the controller, the service versus factory. In the factory, we were using a written object, whereas you are using this here. Let me show you the factory. Factory is returning you an object, whereas whereas the service is not returning you an object. Instead, it is a constructor function. By default, it is giving you this dot sales data. If you remember the object-oriented concepts, the concept of this is talking about the current context of the executing function. So that is what it is doing. That is what it is doing. Am I clear? Anyone having questions, you can ask me.
Kiran,
Yeah.
yes, for the factories, like, can you once explain this exactly when to use this factory and when to use this these things? Like,
There is no specific time, like there is no specific place where when to use the factories and all. Factories or services, whenever you want to share the data, that is where you are going to use the factories. Okay.
in the sense, when we are going to use .json file, a .json thing,
Not only .json, not only .json. If you have any backend API, probably in tomorrow's session, we will integrate the backend API. Okay, it's some .NET API I'm building. So we will be integrating that. So if you want to call that API, then we will be using this, what you say, this one, services or factories.
Okay.
Clear? In tomorrow's session, we will be discussing about what you say, ng repeat, filters. These two things we will be discussing in tomorrow's session. Okay. Tomorrow is working for us, but I'm taking this session so that day after tomorrow will be off. I will be traveling. Yeah, I'm doing that right away so that you can take it. So it is having sales factory, everything, right? So I would recommend you to create this sales JSON and then create the UI for it. so that it will be easy. So we will, yeah, Sneha, the class will not be on your Friday. We have a long weekend.
Kiran,
Yeah.
yeah, Kiran, can you explain the difference? The this dot you mentioned, right? Like a constructor. How? What difference is that making? I didn't exactly get
So
that.
this means what in what context you are running it. So you are running this in under the particular functions context. What is the function here? Sales service is the function. So now anything when you are attaching to this will belong to sales service. Got it? Anything which you when you are saying sales service dot this dot get sales data will belong to sales service. Whereas in the factories, the factory, in this factory, am I using this statement?
No.
No, because the factories will not allow you to do that. Only services will allow you to do that. Services are constructors. So anything which is part of the constructor will be available to the class, right? Here you are written in this factory. You are returning an object, whereas the factory is returning you an object, whereas service itself is an object. Understand the difference? Factory is returning you an object. Am I right?
Yeah.
Service, this itself is an object. It is not returning anything. It itself is an object which is going to invoke. Whenever you are saying this dot get sales data on all, it itself is an object. So that is the structural difference between the service and the factory.
So when we call this function, we receive the sale service object as a response. You're saying, right?
Right. When you are using it, sales service itself is a object. Object dot get sales data. Object dot whatever it is, whatever you are defining, that will be part of the sales service.
Okay.
There is no difference as such between the service and the factory when you are consuming it. But when you are creating it, there is slight difference. That's it.
Okay, I got it. Thanks.
Okay. Okay then. So the code, let me add these two files to the this one so that it will be very easy for us to, in tomorrow's session, it will be very easy for us. So are you doing the example now? Tomorrow, can I expect the, what you say, HTML for the sales module? Can I expect? So please check the latest code is there or not. It should be a simple table. That's it, Sri. It should be something like this. Like this. Got it? Okay then. Thank you guys. The next session is started. Thank you so much. Harish, please restart your session. Harish, please restart your session.